in page number 25, in the introduction, Dr. Kumar has mentioned the document could not reach India but was handed over to his elder brother Sharat Chandra Bose in 1948 by Kuroni at Paris. 48, Sharat Chandra Bose went to Europe for his health recovery and visited many European countries, and naturally he met many of the old friends of Subhash Chandra. And about Kuroni, I will give you some interesting points, very important. This Kuroni, let me then you will add. This Kuroni was that very man. He was in the mid 30s. He was in Calcutta. He was sent by Italian government to be acquainted with Subhash Chandra.
In 1930s?
Late 30s. In Calcutta. This is this Kuroni. Again in 41 January, when Subhash Chandra is leaving this in disguise through Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, Kuroni is in the Italian embassy in a vital post. Very vital post. This very Kuroni in 1948 is present in Italian embassy in Moscow. And when the whole of the British intelligence is searching Bose all over the world, and this very Kuroni is there in Moscow, to whom USA is sending a big man, a big media persons, that Louis Fisher. Louis Fisher was a big media person, journalist, a disciple of Gandhi, and very close to Washington, White House. Very mighty, very influential. Actually, the man was moving all over the country, all over the world, as an unnamed or undeclared ambassador of Washington.
Not only that, actually spying in everywhere.
He's spying in everywhere.
Because he is very keen.
Very keen. Where is Bose? And this, yes.
I've quoted in the book that Dadabhai Nauroji's granddaughter.
Yes, Louis Fisher.
1946.
Yes.
That if Bose comes with Russia's support,
yes,
he and Congress will
yes,
not be able to stop him.
Yes. That's very important. I will disclose you how we discovered that later. A very interesting chapter. That very Kuroni is in Italian embassy in Moscow, and this Louis Fisher is going to Kuroni in search of whereabouts of Bose. And that note of Louis Fisher is declassified. That note of Kuroni on Louis Fisher, why he has come here and what is asking, their discussion, I have given in a second volume, Netaji Subhash Chandra.
Okay.
That very vital.
Okay.
And there very important information is there. In 43, when Germany and Italy was testing in which way Bose will be sent to Southeast Asia, either by the submarine route or by plane or by land route. Three ways were being opened up, all being tested. Even from Italy, Mussolini sent 14 trials of air flights to test from Rome to Rangoon, because Rangoon at that time under British and under Japan, and that was tested. Also, that airway was opened up, the landway was opened up through independent country of Switzerland. That document I have published. That document. Also submarine route. That Kuroni. That is Kuroni very vital. Very vital. Very vital.
And you see, this letter has a very, very important aspect. If you go through this letter, I have given this letter in the appendix of the book.
Yes.
It looks like a military general is planning the whole thing.
Yes.
Because the immediate issue at that time was to seek the help of Russia and attack India, the British in India, from Afghanistan and northwestern Indian side. So Bose has listed a variety of ways in that letter, dealing from where to find places where small planes can land, where we can set up our wireless stations, with the jirgas, these tribal chiefs, their meetings, how to be done and all. And in this thing, there is a very crucial, most crucial thing I consider is, when Bose is saying that the new army which the British are recruiting for the Second World War, in this army, we should send our trusted youth who can work for us, and when the time comes, they can cross over to the Hind.
That is the planning before the starting of this World War.
Yeah. No, this is the planning of 1941.
When the already...
That is in Afghanistan.
Yes.
Okay. Now a very interesting thing happened, that when I quoted this letter, a member of the Bose family came out very heavily on me, saying that you fake documents, and no such letter was handed over to Karoni in Paris. I was with my mother at that time in Paris with him and all that stuff and all. So I said, look, I am a historian, and unless I have evidence and I have cross-checked the evidence, I won't say things. And then when I produced that letter, and the interesting part is that that letter has been published in itself in the volumes of Sisir Gupta and Saugat Gupta. And this family member didn't have the thing to read them out, And once I put that, they became silent. Because the importance of this letter becomes is because Bose and Sarkar had met in 1940, which is very clear to us.
Yes, in 40.
Now, what talk goes on within the revolutionaries, no one knows.
Yes.
They don't leave written records.
It need not be disclosed, should not be disclosed.
Now, Sarkar was recruiting persons for the British.
Yes. And link is going on with Rajbihari in Tokyo.
Link is going on with Rajbihari because now that the M organization is out secret organization entire from 1939 onwards. So the link is with there, the link is with Khaksars.
And the revolution in the form of traders, they are going in between Japan and India.
And the Ghadar party.
Ghadar party, yes.
Party. Mind it, the Ghadar party was the first which, taking into account the 1857 experience, where the soldiers working in the...
They internationalized our revolution.
Revolted against them. So they were the first to again try a revolution in this country with the use of Indian soldiers in the British Army.
Yes.
The Lahore conspiracy case is a part of that, and that is why Rajbihari left. And that 1915 uprising in Singapore, where the Singapore was taken over by the Indian soldiers for 4 days, and I think hundreds were shot after that by the British over there. So this attempt was being again made at that time, and this was the planning at that time between Sarkar and these people. And Sarkar was in touch with Rajbihari Bose. We all know that aspect.
Yes.
So this is something very crucial. And then this got substantiated when I discovered 3 letters in the INA Relief Committee, 1945 file, where these soldiers are claiming that they had joined the British Indian Army on at the behest of Advocate Barrister Sarkar, and when the opportunity came, as per his instructions, they crossed over to the Hind. Now, some people politically got very upset by these findings of mine and started accusing me. So let them accuse, but I have the historical data with me to prove this point.
Then just a few sentences. The very important side of this letter to Louis Fisher from the ashram of Mohandas Gandhi. From Mohandas Gandhi, letter went to the Louis Fisher. There are the few lines you have mentioned, also mentioned in this volume. That letter, you have mentioned my name also, they have got it from me. That actually in 90s, 91, 92, Professor Samar Guha went to USA, to his relative's house. There he came across his old friend who was a chemistry professor in the University of Princeton, who came across this letter in the archives when unpublished.
Otherwise, this fact would have remained unknown.
He took the photographs and handed over to Samarda, and we use this letter in our Supreme Court and High Court cases. See, and Government of India never objected to that.
Sir, this letter reflects another thing. That what was the hurry for the Congress to accept Dominion status instead of independence on 15th August 1947?
And the line, if Bose comes...
And why rush out? And the work I am doing now for my second book, you see, I am going now to link the various, evidences I have, and prove that Bose had given a second plan. He had said that if we fail, the struggle must continue and you go and support Gandhi. But the way the INA people started reorganizing in India and what was happening in India disturbed the Congress again very much, and they rushed for a dominion status with the fear that Bose might come back.
If Bose comes, everything will go out of our hands. Before Bose comes, we have to settle the situation. That is the plan of Gandhi and also of British.
You see, sometimes people ask this question, Bose did, why did Bose come? Now, something which I don't know, I can't answer, but I can only say one thing because I don't go on hypothesis.
Yes.
But I say that entire dream of Bose fell down when the British left giving a dominion status.
Yes. When a new Pakistan is created.
And the country was partitioned.
Partitioned.
Bose never wanted partition.
Partition.
So now even if he comes with an organized INA,
a communal
he will fight. He will fight back his own government of Indians.
A communal feeling says.
Anything to be considered in this matter, you see.
Because,
some foolish brains in this country
because
don't understand because they don't understand what Bose stood for.
Because nationalism had been stabbed, wounded, and communalism have been encouraged in subcontinent.
And Bose won't come
and people of this country, either of the Pakistan or of India, they thought they have got independence. But tragically, they got not the independence but the dominion.
It's a dominion. The king only abdicates the throne of India on 22nd June 1948 when Rajgopalachari is appointed as next second Governor General. Nehru writes as the Prime Minister of your Indian Dominion on behalf of the Cabinet of Indian Dominion. Seeks King's approval. Why should King's approval be taken then if it is independence at that time? And the whole hush business proves this point. That there is and I think in a separate lecture we will discuss that also, what Auchinleck is doing.
Why they were so hurry, so fast.
Why they are in so much hurry in this regard. But the major factor behind this is Bose and his INA.
And also I will show you the document INA file, CSDIC British files, where it is written that in 1946 Bose is arranging another INA in Moscow as before.
Even in the interrogation reports I
yes,
found
I will show you
that this person major saying we had received Bose written orders that proceed to Russia.
Yes.
And mind it, one more thing. See, the Indian region was clearly told that they don't have to fight the Russians along with the Nazi forces, and they never fought. And many of the Indian region people, the Indian Azad and Fauj there in Europe, they went to Russia.
And also in this letter from the Gandhi's ashram to Louis Fisher, you will mention they are fearing ghost from Russia. Also, you will see if you go to the pages of the Transfer of Power volume 12, that big volume, there British is warning Pakistan to be ready for any invasion from the northwest from Russia. They are all warning, giving warning to Pakistan.
Totally
preparing Pakistan army to counter the invasion from the USSR.
It's up to 1948 these people are.
Yes.